Sean Strickland has been talking about sitting and waiting for a title shot, and he thinks that he's going to get one over Robert Whittaker. So today I wanted to take a look at a little bit of a post, and I've been putting off this video. He made this post at June 25th, so it's been a little while now that he's been waiting and sitting for a title, and we still have no Sean Strickland news. But this is something that, again, that I wanted to talk about, something that I have been waiting to talk about today. We're going to be talking about it. We're going to be taking a look at a tweet from Sean Strickland and what the MMA community had to say about that. I'm going to react to it, and I would love to know what you guys think about it down below afterwards. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with too many YouTube channels. Let's start off with this post from Sean Strickland. I keep getting asked to fight Whittaker. I beat Izzy. The world knows I beat Drickus. Whittaker lost to both. I am the #1 contender. I defended that spot easily against Costa. I will wait. So, a lot of fans had a lot of different opinions on what to say about this, and I'm going to bring you to one of the first ones right here. And again, this is to kind of get a gauge on what the MMA community is saying. So, Wonderbread MMA had this to say: wanting a title shot off of Costa is crazy. And to be honest with you, I don't really think that that's really the crazy part. If he were to come out here and just have a ridiculously beat down of Paulo Costa, and after having such a close fight with Drickus du Plessis, then I would be like, yeah, okay. And I understand that people are saying, oh, well, Robert Whittaker just beat Ikram Liskarov. There was a big difference in the sequence of events leading up to that fight. Whittaker just being a company man and saving the card, and Whittaker having the dominant performance and the savage that he looked like he was. So I think there is a really big difference when taking a look at those two. Let's take a look at Backpack Cam X. Whittaker slept his last opponent. You went to a boring decision. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. I completely agree with this. There's one person, if you were to put out Robert Whittaker and Sean Strickland together, I think you took a look at what they've done since they've lost their title. Whittaker definitely deserves the next chance, especially now that Adesanya isn't champion. Now, what's going to happen is if Israel Adesanya beats Drickus du Plessis, then you could have Sean Strickland step in because obviously Robert Whittaker already lost to Izzy twice. Let's take a look at another post from JabJitsu. You lost to Drickus. I was there. I saw it. Your next fight should be against Hamzat. Now, I think this is really important to know because a lot of people think that Sean Strickland should get a title fight because it was a robbery. That fight was incredibly close. I remember, I haven't rewatched a fight, I will admit that to you, but when I was watching it, and I was watching it very intently, when that fight ended, I literally said to my family, I don't know, that could have gone either way. Some of those rounds were really close. I wholeheartedly believe that. I understand that a lot of people might think Sean Strickland edged it, but people are acting like Sean Strickland, like it was a Johnny Hendricks versus GSP type fight. That just wasn't the case. It was a very closely contested contest, and I personally don't think it was a robbery. I don't. I thought it was a very close fight, and I don't want to hear you have to beat the champion to win the title thing. That's ridiculous. You need to win on points. That has nothing to do with the situation. Let's take a look at Oceanic MMA. Bro's trying to use MMA math to duck. Just admit it. You're scared. It's fine, little bro. Now, MMA math never works, right? That is very important to note. But to say that Sean Strickland's scared of somebody, I don't think that's very proper to say. And I'll say this before we continue on with the video because I have made a few videos criticizing Sean Strickland. I don't think I've made like solo videos about Sean Strickland, which I was planning on doing actually. But every single time that I criticize Sean Strickland, I get it in the comments, people assuming my political beliefs, which I do keep very private. I ask that you guys don't assume anything about me. And I get called, and I get called very words that I can't necessarily repeat, you know, words that people refer to people on the left as if that kind of is getting the idea of where you're coming from over there. More often than not, I ask you guys to just not assume anything about me. More often than not, people are wrong when they make those assumptions about me, and I think that I'm allowed to criticize a guy like Sean Strickland. I think he's incredibly exciting. I think he's hilarious, by the way. I like Sean Strickland in that aspect, but I don't necessarily like him as a person. I think he's a little bit more violent than somebody should be, and I don't like the fact that so many things that he does is hypocritical. He's very hypocritical in a sense, where the thing that really drove me off the Sean Strickland edge was I can say whatever I want about Israel Adesanya having, you know, doing stuff with his dog. I can say this and call people weak, call people this, call people that, but you can't make fun of my dad. No, that's too much. I'm going to go on a podcast and cry. That's what I don't like about Sean Strickland. And then he does stuff like this. The other thing that I don't like is he does the same thing that Adesanya does. I don't like Adesanya for either. We're going to go in there, we're going to bang, we're going to put on a war for you guys, and then jab, teep, jab. That's the stuff that I don't like from him. It has absolutely nothing to do with his political beliefs. And again, I keep those private. I'm not saying that I agree or disagree with Sean Strickland. I just keep them private for YouTube. I don't think... I come from a different time, man, where people kept that private, and it leads to nothing but craziness, man. So I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from in that sense. I know that I'm going to receive those comments. Let's continue on to TC, Lark, IV. You don't get to wait and call your shots. The sooner you realize that, the better. Take the Rob matchup if you're smart, where you at least have a chance to win, or else you'll get fed to Hamzat. That's an interesting take. And it's very true. Sean Strickland does not call the shots. I don't know where all of these fighters have that entitlement. The only person that can kind of call shots is Conor McGregor. And that's understandable. Khabib could also call shots. He's not the man of the UFC. He's not the matchmaker. And I don't understand where this entitlement from so many fighters came, where it's like, I'm going to sit down until the UFC gives me a title shot. They can make a better star than Sean Strickland. He's great, and he'd be great as a champion. It was fun having Sean Strickland as champion. But if I were Dana White, if I were sitting here listening to somebody going, sitting down here until you give me what I want, when you arguably don't even deserve it, I don't know, man. I wouldn't give the title shot. Let's continue on to Damian Farron MMA. You'll be out a long time. Might as well add Whittaker to your resume too. And it's a winnable matchup for him. I would lean towards Robert Whittaker to win the fight. I think he has more avenues to end up winning that fight if they were to take on each other. But I agree with this. He will be out a long time. And who knows what's going to happen in that fight? Who knows how the injuries are going to be? Duplessis does make fights messy. What if he waits out another year, you know? He better hope that Israel Adesanya gets the win there, because that would be a magnificent rematch. Let's continue on. You lost to Dricus and then had a snooze fest with Paulo. Meanwhile, Whittaker had 2 impressive performances since the Dricus loss. I think it's fair to say that Rob is more deserving than you for the next title shot. That's something that I don't think I mentioned, is that both of them took on Hamzat Chimaev, I was going to say, Paulo Costa, and Whittaker looked way better doing so. Sean Strickland had the cleaner, more point-worthy winning performance, if that makes sense, but Robert Whittaker came out with his stock higher from that fight. There were some rocky moments, but he came out of a war and then won another fight on top of that. Robert Whittaker is still improving, and I think that's something that you need to take into consideration. Let's take a look at another post over here from Not Scott Thomas 3. Just take the fight. You'll get so much more respect from everyone. I thought you were a fighter, but I guess you're more of a professional. That's an interesting take, because I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with just being a professional and being smart about your career. But sitting back and, like, let me bring you back to this original post, okay? Let me bring you back to Sean Strickland. I am the #1 contender. I defended that spot easily against Costa. I will wait. I understand where he's coming from, but he does advertise himself to be this fighter that'll take on anyone, anywhere, anytime. And Sean Strickland used to be about that. And then that's where I was on, like, the yeah, Sean Strickland. Hell yeah, Sean Strickland. Saving the day, saving the event. You're going to take on whoever? That's sick. And then we see this complete 180. I don't like it, man. I don't like it. And he's still going to advertise himself to be that type of guy, and he's not being that guy. That's my issue with him. He'd be great as a champion. He'd be hilarious as a champion. Interviews with Sean Strickland, press conferences with Sean Strickland are hilarious. I just, as a fan, need him to be a little bit less hypocritical and a little bit less entitled. What happened to all of those times where he's like, I don't care about the belt. I'm here to make money. I'm here to fight for you guys, you know? That's what he used to do. And then I'd be like, hell yeah, Sean Strickland. That's awesome. But he doesn't do that anymore. It's a complete 180 from the guy that was on the way, on the come up. You know, I miss that. So, again, I ask you guys to just keep the political aspects of this aside and understand what I'm actually saying about Sean Strickland. Let me know what you think about this entire situation down below. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for watching. If you are interested, guys, I have 2 more videos taking a look at tweets from the MMA community over here. If you'd like to click on one of them, I will see you either there or in the next video, guys. Take care.